Greetings, our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. This is L.D. Smith, the Watchman on the wall. Israel, this is our midweek teaching. Grab that King James. But first and foremost, we want to give a shout out to all of our sisters and brothers, the whole family. Happy midweek teaching, Israel. Now tonight we got a fine teaching. We're going to be dealing with the word respect. And Israel, as I always say, I want you to think about everything that we are discussing tonight. And you'll find out that this word respect has a whole lot in it, more than we have been told. As a matter of fact, the New Testament speaks of that word probably about 11 or 12 times. But it doesn't talk about it like the Old Testament talks about it. It doesn't talk about it like the Most High says. And we're going to show you tonight that the way that they talk about it in the New Testament is totally opposite of the Old Testament. All right. Now that being said, let's go to the book of Acts, the 10th chapter. We're going to look at verse 34. And it says, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth. Now think about that now. He said, of a truth. Then he proceeds on and says, I perceive that God is no respecter of person. Now, my question is right here. Now, once you say of a truth, you don't need to put your 2 cents in. I mean, honestly, he's saying that this is a truth, and then he said, I perceive. Why not say that this is of a truth that God is not a respected person? See, we never put our own self out there at all, because that's not right. When you put yourself out there, then you are putting yourself before the Most High. And as we said in many of our teachings, the New Testament teaches all the Christians and Jesus to disrespect the Most High, because here he said that he perceived. Why couldn't he just say, well, the word of God is true, and leave it as that? Because that's the way the Old Testament says it. Every word of God is true and just. And so we would not need to insert our own opinion. That's why I always tell you guys, my opinion ain't worth a damn. And I also says, yours are not either. It's all about the Most High. It's not about us. And see, I explain that to the Christians all the time, and a lot of them get offended by what I say, but we don't care about these Christians getting offended by what we say here, because we only speak what the Most High tells us to speak, and nothing more. Now, he says that he perceived that God is not respect a person. Now, let's go a little further. Let's go to the book of Romans. Let's go to Romans, the 2nd chapter. Let's look at verse 11. Now, look what he says here. Romans chapter 2, verse 11. It says, for there is no respect of person with God. Now here he says that there's no respect of person with God. But here tonight, we're going to prove that to the world that them talking about Jesus' little girlfriends and Jesus is nothing more than a lie. Every word that comes out of their mouth is a fabrication. And I can't see why the Christians can't get it, but nevertheless, we're going to continue to hammer away, and we're going to be relentless on showing the world that this faggot-ass God, that so-called God that they call Jesus, and all of his apostles and all the writers over here is nothing but a bunch of crap. I mean, and if I didn't have to come over here to prove to all of my sisters and brothers that are coming online, because Israel, all of our sisters and brothers are coming. They're coming every day, because the Most High is calling all of your sisters and brothers and mine. They're coming. Just like I said. But I have to keep on going back over a lot of scriptures because of my sisters and brothers that are coming. Not because that you don't understand, but because of your sisters and brothers that are coming online. They need to know the truth also. All right, now that being said, we're going to go a little further. Now let's see what God says here. Let's go to Genesis. See, I always told you what, Israel, you want the truth? What you got to do? Go back, right? I always tell you that. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go back and see what the Most High says, because what the Most High says is the truth. The rest of this garbage ain't nothing. Now, let us look at Genesis, the 4th chapter. You all know this scripture here. I mean, very familiar. Now, it's talking about two brothers here. Now, let's look at verses 4 and 5. Now, like I said, I want you to pay close attention to the wording. Listen to the wording, and I want you to get an understanding. It says, and Abel. Well, okay, let's look at verse 3. It says, in process of time it came to pass that Cain bought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also bought of the first yielding of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel. See that right there clearly shows that the New Testament is nothing but a bunch of bullshit. And then he says, and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. See that? One God respected and one he didn't respect. Why? Because and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Now, what happened here? When one loves the Most High, they come to the Most High in all sincerity. They come to the Most High with the mind of being holy, righteous, and separated from all foolishness. Now, when the first brother came, Abel here, he gave God his best. And that's all God wants his people to do, is reverence me as God, because I am the creator. Whatever you have, it came from me. I gave it to you. It wasn't that you just happened to just run across it and get it, but I am the one that gave it to you. And they knew this. But the other brother, he gonna come and give God secondhand stuff. That ain't gonna fly. But anyway, we see here that God does have respect to person, but in righteousness. See that? One has to be in righteousness. You gotta do it right. Now, let's look at it here. Let's look at Exodus. Let's go here to Exodus. We're going to Exodus, the 2nd chapter here. Let's look at that. Exodus, the 2nd chapter. Let's look at verse 25. Well, let's look at 24 too. And God heard their groan, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Israel, do you see how important you are to the Most High? Do you see how he have compassion for you, even though we're in a state of punishment for the sins that our ancestors did? But look at it. God's still saying, baby, you're still important to me. And I read a scripture last week for you guys about God. Well, he was giving an example. He said, can a mother forget her son? Huh? That is born, that her womb yearns for? He said, they might forget, but not me. And God said he would never forget Israel. Never. See, so we We are a very special people. We are special than anything that is up on the face of this planet. But because we didn't know this, we felt what they had told us, that we was less than nothing. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, let's go a little further. Let's go to the book of Leviticus. Leviticus 19th chapter. Let's look at Leviticus the 19th chapter of verses 14 and 15. Look what he says. He said, thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Now look what he says. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. And see, here in America, they got all these special parking spaces for different ones, the handicap. But see, a lot of times, and people have to understand this, they have respect for different ones. Well, I like this one here. I mean, I saw it, growing up, when I was a kid. I know most, pretty much all you guys experienced the same thing. Where they had their favorites. I like that right there. I like this one. And then don't realize the damage that they're doing to the other child. But nevertheless, they follow through with it. But anyway, that is having respect a person. Instead of doing the right thing, I like Junior over there better than I like this one. That's not the right way. But look what God says. He says, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the poor. Now, just because one, is poor and they did something wrong, don't you let them slide. No. He said, I want you to judge in righteousness. If you done wrong, straighten them out. But see, but also, you got those that are mighty. Those that you think that those that have more than you respect them more. Oh, because they got this or they got that, or maybe they may be good in sports, or maybe they can sing good, or maybe they can dance good. I'm just laying some things out there because these are things that happen in our everyday life. And you guys, got to see it for whatever it is. And I mean, you can't judge because that person may look good to you, or that person may have a lot of money. But if he does wrong, then you got to tell him, hey, well, you done wrong. And see, here in America, they had our book, and they made all these laws and different things, and they don't abide by any of them at all. But the reason why is because the laws were given to us and not them. And as we get on down into the lesson, we're going to show you guys that we being over here captive in this Western civilization, this is their society, and they shape it and mold it the way that they want to, and there is no way that we can keep all the most high laws and judgments and statutes. There's no way. And I know that there are some that claim, well, I do this. No, you're a damn lie, because you can't do everything over here because you're in captivity. I mean, like I said, one needs to go back to the beginning of the book, and then you will find out why you can't do it. Because if you look back at our first captivity down in Egypt, what did the Most High say? Tell him to let my people go, that they may come and serve me, because they could not serve him righteously in Egypt. When you're in bondage, you can't do everything. And see, even though today we can't do everything because we don't have our judges, we don't have our officers, we don't have our priests, we don't have any of that stuff. But God is going to put all that back into play when he comes back. The Most High, he's going to put all that back into play. But let's go forward here and look at, finish looking at verse 15 here. It says, "Now honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shall thou judge thy neighbor." In righteousness. What is right? What is right? And see, many of you guys don't understand that everyday life. I know the Christians, they don't understand it, because the first thing, judge me not, judge me not. But look, Israel, you have to make a judgment call every day in your life. Not one time, two times, but all day long. You have to make a judgment call. Because it's all about what? Right and wrong. That's what it's about. But see, but when you get over there with those Christians, they're so fucking self-righteous. You know, Jesus have messed it and twisted their ass all up. They don't know nothing. And they were saying all this bullshit. Well, you can't judge me. Why not? I mean, there is a book called Judges. Why do you think God had it? God had judges in Israel. Oh, but you can't judge me. Know why? Because you don't have a Savior. You don't have the Most High Word. You more than likely, you are not a Hebrew Israelite. Because all this information that is going out now, how can one turn their head to the other way and say, well, I don't want to hear that, you know. We're going to stick with Jesus. Well, stick with him. Because you were a loser. Because as I say in many of my videos, he's not the Most High Son. He's not. And if a person can't see that and understand it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, go back and look at all the videos, because I talk about Jesus in all my videos like he ain't shit. The shit that he's not. He's less than shit. Now, let's go a little further here. Let's look at Leviticus 26. Let us go here. Did I finish my verse there in but no, let's go did I do 15? Yes, okay, judging and righteousness, all right. Now let's go to Leviticus 26. And watch this up, my sisters and brothers. Leviticus 26. Let's look at verses, I guess 4, 5. Okay. Well, you can start from verse 1, but I'm going to start at verses 4. It says, "Then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to be full, and dwell in your land safely." See that? Talking about when we was in our own land, our ancestors. He says, "And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make ye afraid, and I will rid evil beasts out of the land. Neither shall the sword go through your land." Still talking about what? Your land. And Israel, if you just listen to what we just read, things were good. Things were good when we was all united together. Things were good when Israel was whole and not scattered all over. Things were good when Israel was pure. Things were good when Israel served their God. I mean, all these blessings, all these wonderful things happened to our ancestors when they was in their own land. Now look what he says here. "And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall by you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And ye and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword." See that, Israel? When we were a united nation, when we were a united people, when we was oneness, when we was whole, when we didn't have any of the filth mingle in with our people, we were a whole nation. We were unstoppable. We were a super people. Why? Because the Most High was with us. Now we go look further. Look what he says here. Verse 9 says, "For I will have respect unto you." But Paul said that he perceived that God is not a respecter of person. Isn't that right? That's what he said. But here, my sister and brother, you see what God said. And that's why I stress all the time. We don't want to hear anything else about no other books. See, because God is not stupid. The Most High is not ignorant. Do you not think that he know that these other books out here? I mean, honestly, why would one say, well, okay, well, you need to go here and get this right here from out of this book here, and you don't want to say what's in this book here is enough for you. You got to go somewhere else. This book here brought us into captivity. This book talks about us going into captivity. This book tells us about all the things that we're going to suffer while we're in captivity. But yet still, you leave this book and go to another book and say, well, you need to enhance your learning. You are not intelligent as I am because I'm reading out of this book. No, I beg you the difference. You're not as intelligent as I am because I'm getting mine from the Most High and you're getting yours from another man. How about those apples? But anyway, let's go a little further here. Let's look at verses. Let us look at verses 9 here. Let's finish that. He says, "Unto you, and make you fruitful and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you, and ye shall eat old stores, and bring forth the old because of the new." I mean, God is saying that you're gonna bring forth the old because of the new. I mean, he's continually replenishing Israel all the time when we were a people in our land. Now let's go a little further. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the first chapter. Now watch this, my sister and brother. And watch this right here. Let's look at verses. Let's look at verses 16 through 18. He says, "I charge you, judges, at that time." Now, no one say at that time, saying, "Hear the cause between your brother, and judge righteousness between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is within." Then he goes on. He says here, "Ye shall not respect persons in judgment." And it happens all the time. Just because you like this one better than you like that one, then you will have favoritism towards this one. And this is what he's saying in your judging. Don't judge because, remember we was talking about Solomon, and I showed you guys over there in Isaiah the 11th chapter that wasn't Jesus, that it was talking about Solomon. And I showed you guys how Solomon judged between the two harlots that had the babies, and one of them rolled over on the baby and killed him and whatnot, and then got up that night and stole the other lady's baby. And Solomon said, well, okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a sword and we're going to cut this baby in half and give you half and give the other one half. But the mother, she cried out, no, don't do that. Just go ahead and give it to her. Why? Because that was her son. See, one has to have wisdom. And see, and he was making a judgment call, but he had to have wisdom to make that judgment call. That's why when you and I are making a judgment call, we have to have wisdom. You can't do it by what your eyes see or even what your ears hear, because people are very deceiving. They are very deceiving. But anyway, let's go a little further here. We are in verses, let's look at 17. He says, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of men. And not just like here. You know, a lot of them with the little blue dot, they come on, you know, and have all this rhetoric, you know, bumping their gums, talking all that bullshit, you know, but we don't care about that. That don't move us here at all, because we gonna stick with the word of God. Like I always say, if you don't have any substance, then keep it to yourself. And if you are not agreeing with what the Most High says, then go with those, you know, with Jesus. Because we here, we're going to tell you what does say the Lord, and nothing more. I'm not going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to give you the Rib's opinion. No, we're going to give you what God says. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because God is in control. The Most High, He has it laid out like He wants it, and He have given me the mail, and we're gonna bring the mail here. And if one don't like it, then hey, you know what to do. I mean, honestly, we here, we're gonna tell it just like it is, and nothing more. Now let's go a little further here. We're in Deuteronomy. Let's go on down here to let's look at verses 18. Now let's look at verse 18. It says, "It's too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear." See that? God is saying now, if y'all can't get it right down there, bring it to me. Ask me. I give you the right answer. I mean, honestly, God, we have to have God into our lives every day. Why? Because He is the one that is leading us and guiding us. Now look what He says. In 18 He says, "And I command you at that time." See that? All the things which ye should do. Now, let's look at 19. Let's jump on down to verse 20. But let's read 19 too. It says, "And when we departed from Hirah, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which ye saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as the Lord our God commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said unto you, ye are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which the Lord our God giveth unto you." Now see, we see here that God is saying that out of all this, I did this for you. It wasn't that you did anything, but I did it. And I want you to judge in righteousness. I want you to do all these things in righteousness. Now let's look at something else here. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16, the 16th chapter. Let's look at verses 18 down to 20. It says, "Judges and officers shall thou make thee in all thy gates." See that? Judges and officers. Now I told y'all that they had the book. You know, that's why they got their society shaped like Israel had theirs. They got judges and they got officers. "It shall thou make in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes. And they shall judge the people with just judgment." See that? You have to judge in just judgment. And He told them, look, just because one is more popular than the other one, don't you judge by that. I want you to judge a righteous judge and a fair judge. This is what the Most High is saying. Then you can have respect the person. Now, let's go a little further. He said, thou shalt not what? Rest judgment. Thou shalt not respect person. Now, this rest judgment is forced judgment. It's like when you force something on you, like for instance, like America, they're good at it. They do that waterboarding, the horse treatment. They're gonna make you submit to them. They're gonna make you tell them what they want. This is what he's saying. Don't do that. He says, neither take a gift. And they do it all the time. They bribe. Buy their way out. If you got some money, shit, you can buy your way out here in America. Then he says, for a gift doeth blind the eyes of the wise. And it does. See, because you can't judge righteously, and then somebody done already gave you $1 million over and put in your pocket. No taxes on it. Or they done did you this favor. They done let you borrow their yacht. They let you borrow their mansion. The house on the hill out in California. I mean, either they'll buy you trips, to take your family to a resort island, for 30 days free of charge. And see, because you can't judge righteous. You can't, because they have blinded you. Then he goes on. He says, blinded the eyes of the wise and pervert the word of righteousness. Then he says, that which is altogether just thou follow, that thou mightest live and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. See that? But you have to judge righteous. You have to not take a bribe. And this is what all is happening around us right now. Even in our communities. The enemy will come in and give one two or three nickels to rub together. Or either give him a sack of weed, and he'll tell him he'll tell on everything that they have outlawed in the black community that is going on. He'll go and tell on his mama, his brothers, everybody. I mean, that's a bad thing that runs rampantly in the people of color community. It is. And see, Israel, you have to know, who you're dealing with. You have to know that people, you have to find people that are of your persuasion. And what I mean by that is Hebrew Israelite. You have to find people that love the Most High. And look at things like you look at things, that's who you're going to associate with, because other people, they're not going to tell you the truth, and they're going to lie to you, and they will tell the enemy on you. They'll do all these things. It's right in the pages. Now, let's go a little further. Let's look at, let's go to Second Kings. Let's go there. Let's go to Second Kings. Second Kings, let's go there. My sisters and brothers, let's go there. Second Kings 13. Let us look at verses 23. Look what it says. And the Lord was gracious unto them, talking about who? Israel, and had compassion on them, who? Israel, and had respect unto them. Who are you talking about? Israel. And he says, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast them from his presence as yet. See that? Look at God. This is the Most High. This is what he think about his people. Even though he had wrote the rules that you have to be punished. And our people is a stiff-necked people. So even though in God punishing Israel, he still had compassion on them. Why? Because God knows how to judge. God knows how to judge. He said, I will not altogether destroy you. But see, now man said, let's get rid of all of them. And believe me, they tried to get rid of all of us. If it was left up to them, they would have gotten rid of all of us, but they can't. Why? Because the Most High says, I'm going to have me a remnant, and I'm coming back to get them. But see, but Jesus' books talk about everybody. And that could be further from the truth, my sisters and brothers. Just like I said in one of my other videos, how can anybody talk about this karma? Because this is all over social media. This is all in everyone's conversation. Even when they're speaking face-to-face interview, they talk about karma. They talk about karma. But yet and still, when you get your ass in this Christian church on Sunday morning, you hollering about all this forgiveness. Somebody got to pay for what they did to us. This shit just can't be washed up under the damn bridge. And all these Christians that is in these churches, do you not know what they said about 9/11? That they in 9/11 was an inside job anyway. But do you hear what? I mean, they write this shit and say it all the time. We will never forget. Huh? We will always remember 9/11. But yeah, instead when it comes to you, y'all need to get over that. Y'all need to forget about that. How fucking stupid, I mean, how stupid can an individual be? They got to pay for what they did to us and what they're still doing. They got to pay. Simple as that. And they gonna pay. But the reason why a lot of these blacks wanna holler about, well, you know, we need to forget about it because they want to label these white women. That's right. And these other nations, they want to label them. So, well, we know what we all, you know, going in. Not so. Even when they talk about over there in Revelation, talking about the 12 gates going into the city. It's only 12 tribes. Now where's all the other motherfuckers who supposedly was grafted in? Where is their interest at? Can't you see how messed up that is? What gate are they going in? They gonna crawl over the wall? They gonna climb through a window? I know not. I know that's a lie. They ain't going in. But see, but there is no place that we gonna need to go but back over to our land. We ain't gonna no heaven. God said He gonna put us back in our land. But see, that's this theory that the Christians talking about. Jesus have lied to them about they going to heaven. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all been tricked. Y'all been duped. And I mean that. I mean it with all sincerity. Y'all been duped. Now let's go a little further. Let's look at 23 again here. The latter part of it says, with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast them from His presence yet. See, God made a covenant with Abraham. Huh? And that's something that can't be broken. That's why I can't see why the Hebrews cannot understand that you don't need Jesus. And then they talk about, well, He was black. I don't give a damn whether He was blue. You don't need Him. God made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, if God, not if, but God did. And His seed. Now think about this. God can't lie. And God can't break His promises. God can't break His covenant. I mean, that's forever. Now, think about this. Why would God have to send somebody else to fulfill something that He already did? Now, does that make any sense to anybody out there? Why would God send someone else? He already made a covenant that cannot be broken. He said that it is forever. Why would He need somebody else to fulfill something that he's already done? I mean, I didn't go to college, but I know damn well I'm not crazy. That make all. I mean, can you guys see what I'm saying? God has already done this, and every word that came out of God's mouth, He said it is going to go out and it is going to do exactly what He says it's going to do. Isn't that right? That's right. Now let's go a little further. Let's go to Psalms 40. 40 and I'm gonna do 2 Samuel 2, 14, 12 through 17. I'm gonna get back to that, but let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms real quick. Psalms 40. We get there. Psalms 40. Let's look at Psalms 40 and 4. It says, blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. See that? Blessed is the man that trust that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud. See that? You can't buy me. No, sir. Let's look at another one. Let's look at Psalm 70, 74 and 20. It says, have respect unto the covenant. Well, let's do 19:2. He says, oh, deliver not the soul of the turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. He says, have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the inhabitants of cruelty. See that? Oh, my sister and brother, this thing gets good. But anyway, let's go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel, the 14th chapter. I did say that. 2 Samuel 14. Let's look at verses 12. And let's go on down to verse 17. All right, look what it says. Now, Israel is going through a hard time here. Now, listen at the words of the handmaid. Now, see, because they know exactly how the Most High operates, and they know how the word of the Most High. And we're going to show you here. There's another scripture I wanted to look at too. Well, let's go to Psalms 119 first, okay? And then we'll come back to 2 Samuel. Let's go to Psalm 119. Let's look at verse 6. You probably need to read all of this, but I'm going to just jump over it, for time's sake. Let's look at verse 6. It says, then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. See that? You won't be ashamed when you have respect unto all of the Most High's commandments. And like I said, my sister and brother, we cannot do everything here, but we can try. See, there's nothing wrong with you trying to live according to how the Most High wants us to live. And I know that he said that he's going to put it back in the days of old. I understand that too. But while we're here in captivity, we need to focus on doing whatever we can in order to please the Most High. Now, let's look a little further here. Look at Psalms 119. Let's start there. It says, then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. All right, let's go to verse 15 here. It says, I will meditate in the precepts and have respect unto thy ways. See that? I will have respect unto the Most High ways. Then it says in 17, he says, deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and keep thy word. See that? Keep that word. Why? Because he is trying to do exactly what the Most High says. Now let's go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel, the 14th chapter. Let's look at verses 12 on through 17. Now, as I stated earlier, Israel is going through a hard time here. Now look what it says here. This is the handmaid here. It says, the woman. Well, I'm going to back up to verse 11. It says, Then said she, I pray thee, let the king remember the Lord thy God, that thou wouldest not suffer the revenger of blood to destroy any more. lest thou destroy my son. And he said, as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair hair of thy son fall to the earth. Then the woman said, let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my lord the king. And he said, say on. In other words, the king said, okay, let us speak. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of God? Question. For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty, in that the things doeth not fetch home, the king doeth not fetch home again his banish. Now, she knows the rules of the Most High. The Most High says, even though I may turn my head the other way, I still ain't forgot about you. I will never forget you, Israel. Now, she's bringing him back to his remembrance about what the Most High says. He says, verse 14 says, for we must need die, and are as water spit on the ground. Now, these are questions. Even though you see a comma there, it should be a question mark, because if you read it, she's asking the question. It says, for we need die. That's the question. And are we water spit on the ground? Question. It says, which cannot be gathered up again? Question. It says, neither doeth God respect any person? Question. Yet doeth he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him? Statement. See that? Then he goes on and says, now therefore that I am come to speak of this matter unto my lord the king, it is because the people have made me afraid, and thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the question of his handmaid. For the king will hear and deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the men that will destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of God. Then that thy handmaid said, the word of the Lord, the king shall now be comfortable. For as an angel of God, so is my Lord the king to discern good and bad. Therefore the Lord thy God will be with thee. See that, my sisters and brothers? See that? Here, she came to him and brought to his attention. This is how the Most High operates. You doing things wrong. Now, if you go ahead and finish reading down there, you will see that she put the king back on the right track by having respect for Israel, for God's people. My sisters and brothers, we wish that you have enjoyed this teaching on tonight, our midweek teaching. But before we leave, we want to say something, else that I was thinking about on the Christians and their resurrection. If you guys remember reading the New Testament, they said that Jesus was beaten beyond recognition. All right? Then he was stuck inside with the spear, and the blood and water supposedly came out. Then he was nailed to the cross. All right? Now, you guys remember, after he supposedly rose now, he showed them the holes in his hands. So-called, showed them where the nails was in his hands. But my question is this: if he was beaten beyond recognition, all of them, it was all over his head and his face and his back and everywhere else. How could that heal up and then not the holes in his hands and in his feet? Because that's all they talk about is the holes that is in his hands and the holes that was in his feet. Well, the indention. But what happened to all the scars that was upside his head and all in his back? What happened to those scars? If any of y'all would ask the Christians to tell us why all other scars healed up except for the marks that was in his hand, because those were the only ones that was talked about. But anyway, my sisters and brothers, we wish all you guys a happy midweek teaching, and we hope that this has been enlightening to you. And until our Sabbath, shalom.